A wave of game-changing developments are set to reshape the entire Kansas City metro, powered by billions in investment, new infrastructure, and fresh energy. In this video, we're breaking down the key developments you should know about that will reshape the future of Kansas City. And if you want to stay in the loop as it all unfolds, sign up for our free KCC newsletter. It's linked in the pinned comment below. And as always, if you're buying, selling, or relocating, we've got guides there for you too. Let's start with the area seeing some of the biggest momentum right now, the Riverfront. For decades, Kansas City's Riverfront was overlooked, cut off by highways, shaped by industrial use, and more known for what it used to be than what it could become. But today, it's the site of some of the boldest, most exciting development in the entire metro. And it all starts with making the area more flood resilient. The Kansas City Levee Project is a $529 million investment to raise and reinforce over 17 miles of levees and flood walls along the Kansas and Missouri rivers. It's not flashy, but it's foundational. This work reduces flood risk for 32 square miles of the metro, including neighborhoods, job centers, and key infrastructure. Without this, none of what's next would be possible. And what's next is massive. Just downriver, the historic West Bottoms is gearing up for a $526 million transformation led by Samara Road. Over the next decade, this 26-acre district will bring more than 1,200 new apartments, 100,000 square foot of retail, office space, a boutique hotel, and walkable green spaces, all while restoring historic buildings that have stood empty for years. Meanwhile, just north of downtown, the Berkeley Riverfront is becoming a model for what 21st century development can look like. Anchored by the KC Current CPKC Stadium, the first purpose-built stadium for a professional women's sports team, this area is now the focus of a $1 billion investment. The next phase, 429 apartments, 48,000 square feet of retail, and a new town square and promenade that will bring the Missouri River back into the daily life of the city. This isn't theoretical. Ground has already been broken, buildings are going up, and in just a few short years, Kansas City's Riverfront will go from an underused edge of the city to one of its most dynamic and desirable neighborhoods. What's cool is this wave of riverfront development isn't happening in isolation. It's being stitched into the rest of the city. And a big part of that connection is riding on rails. Kansas City's original streetcar system was once the third largest in the country. But like many cities, we traded rail for roads, and by the late 1950s, the last streetcar had been retired. For decades, transit in KC meant buses, cars, and traffic. But that all changed in 2016. With the launch of the modern streetcar running from Union Station to the River Market, Kansas City planted a flag for a new kind of urban mobility. And the response? Overwhelmingly positive. Ridership soared, and just as importantly, new development clustered around the line, showing that transit can drive real growth. Now, the next chapter is unfolding. The Main Street extension is stretching the streetcar 3.5 miles south to UMKC with 16 new stops connecting downtown to Midtown, Westport, and the Plaza. Set to open in 2025, it will make car-free living a real option for thousands of residents. Meanwhile, the Riverfront extension is on track for 2026, adding a critical link to Berkeley Riverfront Park and CPKC Stadium. This 0.7-mile segment might seem small, but it's a game changer, transforming what was once a disconnected stretch of the city into an easy, direct destination from anywhere along the line. And it's not just about streetcars. Kansas City is moving forward with a new bike and pedestrian bridge connecting the River Market to Berkeley Riverfront. Running parallel to the Grand Viaduct, this bridge will give walkers, joggers, and cyclists a safe, direct path to the riverfront. After years of planning, construction is expected to start later this year with an opening plan for 2026, right alongside the Riverfront streetcar extension. But the vision doesn't stop there. City leaders are actively studying an east-west streetcar line, an ambitious proposal that could tie together key cultural districts and historically underserved neighborhoods. This potential line would help bridge the east and west sides, long separated by infrastructure, and lay the groundwork for a truly citywide transit grid. It's part of a bigger shift happening across Kansas City, a move toward connection, walkability, and accessibility. For anyone thinking about moving here, that's exciting news. Whether you want to live downtown, near the riverfront, or in one of the vibrant neighborhoods further south, These projects are reshaping how people experience and move through the city and making it easier than ever to live a lifestyle that's not tied to a car. Speaking of cars, if you've spent any time in downtown, you've likely crossed the Loop, whether you knew it or not. It's the ring of highways that surrounds Kansas City's core, built in the 1960s during the height of America's freeway boom. Back then, the Loop was seen as progress, a way to get in and out of downtown quickly. But in the process, it created walls between neighborhoods, disrupted walkability, and cut off areas like the East Side, West Side, and Crossroads from the city center. Today, Kansas City is working to reverse some of that. The Roy Blunt Luminary Park, formerly known as the South Loop Project, is one of the most ambitious public space efforts in the city's history. The plan is to cap 4 blocks of I-670 with a lush, walkable park that reconnects downtown with the Crossroads Art District. Think green space, public events, skyline views, and a whole new reason to linger instead of just pass through. And while that's happening above the highway, the city is also looking at ways to reconnect communities on both sides of the loop. Studies are underway to better link the east and west sides, 2 areas deeply impacted by 20th century infrastructure. We're talking safer pedestrian crossings, transit access, and more intentional development. But the biggest reconnection effort might not be about roads or rails. It could be about a path. Green Line KC is a proposed 10-mile loop of pedestrian and bike trails that will encircle greater downtown. Inspired by projects like Atlanta's Beltline and New York's High Line, Green Line KC will be a living thread that ties together art districts, parks, historic neighborhoods, and city landmarks. It won't just connect, it'll showcase. Plans call for interactive art, cultural exhibits, heritage trail markers, and stunning views of the city you'd never see from a car. From cliffside overlooks to bridge underpasses, Green Line KC will create a walkable, bikeable experience of the city that encourages people to move, explore, and connect. Together, these projects are about more than just infrastructure. They're about identity, what kind of city Kansas City wants to be and who it wants to be for. For anyone thinking about relocating to Kansas City, this kind of investment matters. These projects signal a shift from car-centric planning toward a city designed for people, walkers, bikers, commuters, families. A city where public space is public again. By the way, if you are considering a move to KC, we put together an in-depth relocation guide to help you navigate the transition. Just click the link below. While transit, cranes, and construction zones may be the most visible signs of Kansas City's growth, there's another wave of development happening just beneath the surface, driven by data, energy, and innovation. 2 of the biggest players, Google and Meta. Both companies are investing heavily in data centers on the edges of the metro. These multi-million square foot campuses won't just store your photos and emails. They're part of a larger digital infrastructure that powers everything from artificial intelligence to online retail. These projects can bring with them the promise of job creation, infrastructure upgrades, and long-term tax revenue. They can jumpstart new ecosystems, drawing in hospitality, logistics, cybersecurity, and skilled trades. Some have even called it the data center effect, when a single hyperscale facility triggers new roads, better broadband, and higher property values. But not everyone is on board. The Kansas City Business Journal reported that at a recent Port KC meeting, protesters voiced concerns over Google's proposed development dubbed Project Mica. Critics pointed to its massive energy use, potential reliance on fossil fuels, and the lack of a substantial community benefits agreement, especially compared to Google's other projects in places like San Jose. Then there are the questions about how many full-time jobs these facilities actually create, and whether the scale of public tax incentives is truly justified. The truth is, both sides have a point. These centers can provide major economic lift, but with a price tag that could involve billions in tax exemptions, the community is right to ask tough questions. Will local schools, infrastructure, and residents benefit equally from these high-tech developments? Meanwhile, Panasonic's $4 billion EV battery plant in DeSoto offers a slightly different story. With more than 4,000 direct jobs and a regional supply chain to support it, the impact on housing, workforce training, and suburban development is already being felt. It's a more traditional economic development win, but one that shows how Kansas City is positioning itself for the industries of the future. While data centers and EV plants may be reshaping the region's economy, they're also creating ripple effects you can actually see, especially in the suburbs. Because as new jobs come online and the metro grows, cities across the Kansas City area are responding with ambitious, community-driven developments of their own. Downtown may be grabbing headlines, but it's not the only part of Kansas City that's transforming. In every direction, the suburbs are stepping up with ambitious projects of their own. And if you're looking to move here, these new districts could play a big role in where you decide to live. Let's start in Lee Summit, where the city just broke ground on Discovery Park, a $900 million mixed-use development with apartments, hotels, office space, a Riverwalk-style district, and even a 4-acre lake for kayaking and paddleboarding. Over 3.9 million square feet of commercial and residential space is planned across 270 acres, making it one of the largest suburban developments in the metro. Just across town, Lee Summit is also nearing completion on the Downtown Market Plaza, featuring a year-round indoor farmers market, outdoor lawn space, and public art installations. For a city that already boasts one of the most vibrant suburban downtowns in Missouri, these additions take things to the next level. In Overland Park, the Blue Hawk development continues to grow into a destination all in its own right. Anchored by a massive 420,000 square foot sports complex, Blue Hawk is adding 200,000 square feet of restaurant and retail space in a project called The Boundary, complete with rooftop bars, open green space, and a family-friendly atmosphere. The goal is to give visiting teams, families, and locals a true live, play, shop environment, and it's all set to come online in time for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Meanwhile, Olathe is preparing to make a national splash with Olathe Gateway, a $320 million Starbond-backed entertainment district. It'll feature a 5,000-seat arena, a hotel, medical office space, and one of the country's few all-abilities theme parks named Michael's Wonder World. The project is expected to generate over 60,000 annual visitors, support more than 1,200 full-time jobs, and redefine what inclusive, family-friendly development can look like in the Midwest. And finally, Wyandotte County is preparing to welcome the long-anticipated new home of the American Royal. The $450 million campus will feature multiple arenas, a massive barn and exhibit hall, a community kitchen, and eventually over 100 acres of festival grounds. The move marks a major shift from the West Bottoms to Western KCK, bringing with it an expected $146 million in visitor spending by 2026. So what does all of this mean if you're looking to make a move? It means the KC Metro isn't growing in just one direction. Whether you're drawn to downtown energy or suburban breathing room, there are more choices than ever, each with its own blend of lifestyle, amenities, and opportunity. So whether you're drawn to that downtown energy, the walkability of the riverfront, or the growing lifestyle hubs in the suburbs, one thing is clear: Kansas City is evolving fast. And that means opportunity for the people who get in early. And that's exactly what we're here for. Whether you're thinking about buying, selling, or relocating to Kansas City, we've put together 3 free guides to help you make smart moves in this market. You'll find them all linked down below. Grab the one that fits your journey, or download all 3 if you want the full picture. And if you want to talk through your specific situation, neighborhood by neighborhood, we'd love to help. Just book a call with the team anytime. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.